Hello everybody, I'm here today with Victor Cheng, who had Vision Day about 2 years ago now. Hi Victor.
Hi.
Before we dive in, how about telling us a little bit about your work and your business?
Sure, I'm an executive coach. I work with entrepreneurs to help develop them into professional CEOs, taking their skills as a CEO and their company income to the next level.
Great. And you also, as I've come to know, have a really incredible background. Maybe you could just share with our viewers some of the things you've done in your past.
I'm a Stanford graduate. I have a degree in quantitative economics, a master's degree in sociology. I started my career as a consultant at McKinsey & Company, which is sort of the Fortune 500 the coaches and consultants to the Fortune 500 CEO. Started a .com company, one of the first social networking sites. This was about 12 years ago, before it was popular and profitable. Didn't do that for very long. Helped one company go public, run a division of software companies. I've authored 3 business books, and that's just a couple things.
What originally led you to do your Vision Day?
You know, coming to do the Vision Day, I was sort of in a really foreign place in my life. You know, I'm a very logical, very left brain, numbers, facts, analytics type of person. And but I had reached a point in my life where I wasn't happy, and my wife had mentioned to me, you know, I used to, in high school, for example, in college, I used to smile like 7 hours out of the 8-hour day, and to the point where everyone who knew me, friends, teachers, administrators, all knew I was the guy who had the biggest smile on campus. And somewhere along the way of my sort of entrepreneurial career, I stopped smiling, and I didn't notice it because, you know, I don't look at myself in the mirror all day long. And my wife, after a couple of years, noticed that, you know, you don't smile anymore. And I thought about it and realized, you know, she was right. And I could not figure out any logical reason why that was the case. And I had a business, it was doing well financially, and so from a logical standpoint, from a factual standpoint, there really was no reason to not be smiling, and so I couldn't figure it out. And I actually went sort of at the urging of some trusted colleagues, and they suggested that there's something that's not up here that's getting in the way. There's something sort of in my heart that not something I'm normally very in touch with, that sort of prompted me to realize something was wrong. And I always think of Rob as the guy to go to when logically nothing is wrong, but you know something is wrong with your life. And I decided to take a chance and go for it. And I was very happy that I did.
Before you came, were there any reservations or hesitations that you had when you were thinking about coming to do Vision Day?
Yeah, I mean, I had a bunch. I pride myself on logic, facts, analytics, and I could not see how Rob Berkeley would sort of fit into that. And my first impression, no offense, Rob, was this whole vision, passion, I don't know, it seemed kind of like frou-frou, warm and fuzzy, and I didn't see where the hard return on investment would be, you know, and the investment was significant, and it wasn't, you know, sort of an easy decision to make financially, and I could not see the hard numbers. I ran the financial model, I couldn't see it, but in my gut, everything else wasn't working, and so it's clearly something I had a blind spot to, and I decided to take a chance because Rob had such a great reputation.
Is there anything else that was going through your mind thinking about coming? We subsequently discussed it after your Vision Day.
Yeah, I remember that. A couple things. One was I live out in California, and at the time, I guess this was in the summertime, I guess, so you guys were up in the vineyard. And so it's a big trip, so it's 2 days of just travel, you know, for getting out to the one day of the Vision Day. So that was clearly a concern of mine, and then, you know, I like to think of myself as a very self-reliant guy, so I was wondering how much can you really get done in a single day, really, right? And what I realized sort of after the fact was that what Rob helped me realize was all the answers are within me, okay? But I was looking up here for the answer, and the answer was about a foot lower here in my heart. But I'm just not, I'm a guy, so I'm not as in touch with emotions, sort of in general. I'm Chinese, and emotions are bad in Chinese culture, and so I just didn't sort of know what was in there. So Rob helped me sort of get rid of that fog and helped me sort of be consciously aware of what was in my heart. And once I became aware of that, it became very obvious what I should do with my life, what I should do with my career, why I was struggling in a certain way. I sort of felt like I had my foot on the gas, but somehow something was pressing on the brake at the same time. And so once I was aware of it, it became very easy to solve, very obvious, and very simple. So I think it took, if I recall, it took me the first half of the day until I sort of had the aha moment, and we both sort of realized that what the problem was and what was getting in the way. And then spent the rest of the day just sort of laying out the plan of what to do about it. And at that point, once it was in my consciousness, I could deal with it. I could get my arms around it. I know how to solve problems I can see. The problems that I always worry about, the ones I'm completely unaware of. So it was I thought it was very productive. It took only a half day to really get to sort of the hardest part of what I needed. And so I thought it ended up being pretty good use of my time, and certainly far better than all the other things I was doing, sort of looking in the wrong place for the answers when it was right here with me to begin with.
After your Vision Day, Victor, what were some of the things that happened in your business that are pretty notable? I can think of one has to do with your authoring.
Yeah, I mean, I realized I had sort of really definitive perspective on entrepreneurship. And as an example, I'm a third-generation small business owner. I think small business is really sort of the foundation of the good parts of the U.S. economy. And so I decided that I would write a book to transfer some of the more practical ideas that the Fortune 500 CEOs I had used to work with, and make it sort of accessible to small business owners. And I wrote a book called, the title at the time was called Escaping the Self-Employment Trap, and I'm sort of in the process of doing the second edition of that, which will probably be renamed. That same year, I wrote 2 additional books, essentially writing 3 books in 12 months, because I had apparently a lot to say. And books have done quite well, have led to a lot of business for me. I got a lot of recognition from them, from the public media. I've been in the Wall Street Journal, Link Magazine, Smart Money Magazine, MSNBC.com, and so on. So it ended up being sort of quite a surprise, frankly, because I just had never sort of seen that in my life. And I think the part that it wasn't that surprised me, it was people's reaction to what I was doing that surprised me. So my inner circle of friends sort of sensed I had this enormous drive and passion and massive amounts of energy, and it was like someone had lit a fire sort of inside me. And it was quite interesting to see my wife react to that, Rob, you, and some of my other friends react to that, and that was refreshing, because I hadn't really. Sometimes you see yourself better through the eyes of others than yourself, and I realized clearly something had changed for the better.
Yeah, it was an incredible accomplishment to see all that you did. I mean, since then, all that you did, and not that you were ever not a productive guy, but you've done some really incredible stuff. Thank you for being so clear and talking about the things that you've done. And Vision Day, is there anything else that you'd like to make sure you tell our viewers of this video?
I was in my circle of friends, all successful business owners, fairly high net worth, net income folks. I was sort of the first to go, and subsequently, I think another 12 of them went over the span of the following 2 years after they saw my reaction and sort of enthusiasm coming out of that, and seeing them seeing sort of what I had accomplished in that time, and so I sort of at every level really sort of recommend going to the Vision Day. And again, I'm a very hard numbers kind of guy, very analytical, very logical. I'm sort of more uptight about numbers and sort of logic than a lot of engineers. And I can't give you a logical reason why to go, but I just know it makes such sense at a gut level. And if you're in a place in your life where something's not right and you can't put your finger on it, that's when you go to Rob Berkeley. And that's what I tell all my friends. When you know something's off, you can't seem to fix it, don't even know what it is, which makes it obviously impossible to fix, that's the time to go do a Vision Day. Helps you get great clarity on what's getting in the way of your life, and gives you great clarity on what you should do next. And I think for a lot of people who are pretty successful in sort of in general, once they're aware of what's wrong and how to fix it, they're usually pretty good at doing it. It's having that awareness and giving that sort of fog and fuzziness that for a lot of folks, they're just not used to going through that process. And I think, Rob, your Vision Day process is phenomenal at helping us get great clarity around the issues in our life and what we are sort of meant to do as our callings.
Well, thank you. And Victor, I just have to say that all that you accomplish is for me an inspiration, and I love seeing what you do, and I also love seeing the results that you get with the CEOs that you coach and work with. It's really an inspiration to me, and I love seeing it. So thank you for doing your good work.
Well, thank you. It's an honor that you'd say that. So I'm just thrilled that you'd say that. But I also want to thank you too for being really sort of a very, I think, pivotal influence in my life at a very critical time when, frankly, I was stuck. And so for that, I thank you, and always be eternally grateful for that.